Speaking of politics, I think it is. It is State Senator Ruth Johnson on our AT&T line, the Republican from Holly. Welcome back to the program.
Thank you, Michael. How are you?
Oh, I'm curious to get your opinion on what happened yesterday. The Senate Bill 1 that the governor vetoed that would have insisted that when the Health and Human Services Department puts out an order that you get to have a look at it after 28 days and decide together whether it's really needed. Apparently that won't happen.
Apparently not. I think when you have the legislature involved, it's a good thing. We are the only state in the nation that we're closing down restaurants and other businesses without matrices. And it turns out Michigan is the 10th highest in deaths from COVID, but we're also we're 39th worst state for unemployment. So the math doesn't work there, and we need to make sure that we do this the best we can do. It is very challenging, but we don't want to put businesses out of business and when it's not really helping, and it's hurting not only the businesses but the workers and the restaurant business and other businesses like that. We have over 600,000 people that work there, and as you know, in restaurants, people do rely on those tips. So a lot of people are in serious financial trouble, and some of the decisions that were made obviously really didn't help.
That veto also includes money that was coming from the federal government for education. So what happens next? And was it wise to tie those two together? I think I understand why it was done.
Yes, that was done in the House, so I don't have privy to that information in the Senate.
The purpose was to make it difficult for the governor to go forward with the veto because the money won't get to the schools?
I'm not sure what the negotiation points were. Again, that was done in the House of Representatives, and I'm not involved in any meetings with them.
Mm-hmm. You were involved, apparently, with some meetings about election reform. What are we to believe about what happened in this most recent election, recognizing that you're uniquely qualified to have a look at it because you served as Secretary of State?
Well, yes, I served as Secretary of State, and I was clerk for the second largest county, too. And so I am chair of elections right now in the Senate, and we do know that there were a number of things that happened, and we've learned from those. And so we do have a package of 39 bills in the Senate right now to try to make it easier to vote but harder to cheat. And so during the 2020 election, the Secretary of State took over a job that usually the local clerks do, the 1,520 local clerks. But they've always waited to be solicited for absentee ballots. The Secretary of State used a file that says qualified voter file, but there's hundreds of thousands, over 1 million people on that file that are not qualified to vote because you have to go through such a long process, and we don't have a national system to fix that. So she sent out over 800,000 pre-filled out, unsolicited absentee ballot applications to individuals that were simply not eligible to vote because they had moved, they were dead, or we know we got underage and some non-citizens that received these invitations to vote. Because we don't have a national system to check it, if someone votes in 2 states, we would never know it. So they also, the Secretary of State told the local clerks that they don't have to verify residency for people, even if they were if they are in the qualified voter file. We put a flag on them when they've moved to another state and turned in their driver's license and got a driver's license from the other state, and they're eligible to vote in that state. So we call it surrendered your driver's license. And that's very troubling because it makes them eligible to vote not only in 2 states, but she sent out invitations to over 800,000 people that simply should not be voting in Michigan. So the signatures would match. It is the same person, but they could vote in 2 states. So we also had credible reports from some of the big universities that students were being told they could vote in Michigan even if their primary residence wasn't here or in another state.
So lots of examples, and it is still a political hot potato that involves people's lives. Thank you for spending a few minutes of your life with us. Ruth Johnson, State Senator, Republican from Holly.